Smells like football. Yeah, it smells like football. I'm excited, man. Even though it's preseason football, it's still football. The New York Giants are taking on the Detroit Lions week 1 preseason. Obviously, we had the joint practices in Detroit with the Lions, and we had a shaky day 1, and then the second day was fantastic. Now, because that second day was fantastic, here's the thing. And you see the thumbnail. I don't know who's going to play, who's not going to play, but I have an idea of who's going to play, who's not going to play. So first off, I'm going to say this. I do not think Saquon Barkley is going to play. And why would I even need to see Saquon Barkley in the preseason? And we already know what Saquon Barkley is. And week 2 is the real dress rehearsal, so we will see Saquon Barkley next week. Not saying that he won't play, but I believe he will not. Not saying he won't. I believe he will. I believe he won't. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't think Saquon Barkley is going to play. Now, for Daniel Jones, here's the thing for me. If Andrew Thomas plays, then I think Daniel Jones might get some reps. If Andrew Thomas does not play, I don't expect Daniel Jones to be on the field at all. And here's the thing. If Andrew Thomas isn't on the field, I probably don't want Daniel Jones on the field either, especially in the preseason. So those are the 3 guys that I think absolutely have probably about a 75 to 80% chance that they will not play tomorrow against the Lions. And again, depending on when you're watching this, it's either going to be today or tomorrow, the preseason game. Now, guys that I do expect to see that are still starters is pretty much the rest of the offensive line, the wide receivers, and pretty much most of the defense outside of maybe Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Xavier McKinney. So who does that leave? Doesn't sound like it's a lot of people, but I believe that it's going to be entertaining still to see these guys. We invest so much time in these draft picks, UDFAs, guys that are fighting for a roster spot. We spend so much energy, so much time doing the research and, the reading the write-ups on these guys that we can't wait to see these guys in action in the preseason, because you don't hear much about these guys in practice, somewhat. But the preseason is their time to shine. So I'm just going to, first name a couple people that I'm going to definitely be watching in this preseason, and especially preseason game 1. First off, you already know John Michael Schmitz. I need John Michael Schmitz to get the reps. I need him to get comfortable. I need him to get those live reps against a real defense. Full on action, playing to the whistle blows, all out. I need to see John Michael Schmitz. Second, I need to see Deonte Banks. He's had an up and down training camp. He started off slow, ended up being pretty strong. I need to see Deonte Banks cover in a real game. Jalen Hyatt. I do need to see Jalen Hyatt. Now, here's the thing. If Jalen Hyatt goes out there 1 or 2 series, catches about 2 or 3 balls, gets about 40 yards or something like that, go ahead and wrap him up and put him on the sideline. I don't want nothing to happen to him. I've seen enough if it comes to Jalen. Get him a couple catches, let him get acclimated, and get him off the field too. That's how I feel about a lot of these players. And I'm just going through the draft class. Eric Gray, absolutely want to see him get a lot of reps in this game. A lot of question marks. The film was fantastic as far as college goes. I want to see him on the next level. I want to see if he has that same burst, that same wiggle, at the next level. Jordan Riley. Now, we already know that the defensive line is an area of need. A lot of guys are injured on that. Ashawn Robinson just came back. DJ Davison on the PUP list. You won't see Dexter Lawrence. You won't see Leonard Williams, in my opinion. So Jordan Riley has a chance to make a name for himself in this preseason game. Trey Hawkins just might be, outside of Jalen Hyatt, the most intriguing draft pick in the class. Nobody expected him to jump on the scene the way that he did. Nobody expected him to show out, get reps with the first team. And the crazy thing about me is that there was a point in the mini camp and stuff like that where I was like, you know what? Looking at the depth chart, I don't know if all of our rookies are going to make the 53. And then lo and behold, Hawkins is showing out. I can't wait to see him in the game setting as well. Because no matter what, coming from the division that he played in, as far as in college, the conference that he played in, even this preseason game is going to give him a lot of work and a good look, for the coaches to evaluate. And then also Javarius Owens, who was pretty much held to the side due to injury a lot in this training camp, came came back, practiced a few times in Detroit, but he's another guy that shined during minicamp and OTAs, and I can't wait to see what he can do in the real game. So those are going to be that rookie class that I'm talking about outside of some UDFAs. I do need to see what Bryce Ford Wheaton is about. Habakkuk Baldonado was another one. Pause, even though that's not a pause moment, just his name makes me say pause, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Who else UDFAs? Deontay Johnson, the linebacker, need to see what he's doing. And speaking of linebackers, this linebacker competition between Darian Beavers and Micah McFadden has to be settled. It might not be settled tomorrow during the Detroit game, but it has to be settled at least going into Carolina. And that's probably the most, that and safety, but no, linebacker is probably the most intriguing competition for me. Micah McFadden versus Darian Beavers. Not really want to pin these guys against each other. I'm just saying that competition of who gets that spot next to Bobby Okereke might be the most intriguing for me going into, this season. And then of course safety, I believe to see a lot of reps from Jason Pinnock, Dane Belton. These guys are fighting for that spot. Really leaning towards Jason Pinnock now, even though earlier I was leaning towards Dane Belton. I love the practice that Dane Belton had, in the joint practice second day, had the nice strip. But again, if you're going to tell me or ask me who was having the stronger camp out of Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton right now, I got to go with Jason Pinnock. So there's a lot of people that I want to see. And also, who's going to start at the guard spot? Is it Glowinski, Bredesen, Azudu, Bredesen? What's going on over there? Who's the swing tackle? Is it Pert? Is it Tyree Phillips? These are all competitions that I can't wait to see what the New York Giants are doing on the field tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this video. So again, I don't expect certain players to play. I can't wait to see what the rookies do, and a lot of these guys on the bubble, the roster bubble, or just on the outside or lower on the depth chart. It's just a lot of competition, especially in that wide receiver room. I want to see what Colin Johnson does. I want to see what Cole Beasley does, Jamison Crowder. We already know who the staples are going to be, but those guys that are fighting for that 5th and 6th or 7th spot at wide receiver, this is where they get a chance to earn and get evaluated, in a game setting. So it's, even though all of the stars won't be playing or won't be playing long, this preseason has a lot of value when it comes to seeing what this team can be as far as building your farm up, building your depth chart, and things like that. So I'm excited still. I hope you guys are excited. I'm going to be tuned in, to the preseason game, almost like it's a live game, or I should say a regular season game. And I hope you guys are too. So that's going to be a quick video on who I have as players to watch going into the preseason game. I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And for one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. You know what? Let me know in the comments down below, the people that you're watching in this preseason game, what you expect to see, what you're looking out for, things like that. But I just want to say I'm excited because football is back. Football is back. And Dallas is week 1. Let's go.